Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 1, Under Locks and Keys. When we last left off, the party regrouped after a few months apart at the small little pirate port of Tortage, where Anna revealed what their next target was going to be. Working with Asari and Professor Plaster, the group managed to discover that the pirates forming the Brethren of the Coast have been entrusted to guard the Spear of Ares, which is being entrusted as the trophy in a competition they're hosting on a flotilla that has existed since the dawn of the Third Age, Plundon. However, as the pirates gather at Tortage, one of the safe pirate ports in these waters, and wait for Plundon to arrive so that they can all climb aboard, the party has noticed that something has the pirates spooked. And for whatever reason, this paranoia is driving them to lock off Plundon from outsiders. As a result, the only way aboard is to earn the implicit trust of a criminal, be it one of the very pirate crews of Plundon, many of whom are currently docked in Tortage, the local Thieves Guild, if you can earn their favor, the local Mafia family, who competes with both, or perhaps a third party, if you should wish to do so. With that, the party discussed plans with Asari and Anna, and after coming to the conclusion, each to their own, of what the best plan might be, everyone splits up. Greylog, you said you were going to make your way... What's
I
up?
was going to note that Avaven was going to say something once everybody left.
Okay, noted. Greylog, you make your way down to the docks.
Yeah, I wanted that list of the brethren.
Okay. Do you want to just ask Anna about it, or like try and find one out on the docks?
Yeah, I wanted to ask Anna about the list because she said she could definitely do that last session.
Okay. All right, so Anna will go ahead and start writing one up for you. Paul, you said that you were just going to go out on the town and maybe consult with Dolly.
No, that's just.
Oh, okay. That was a sorry then.
I think that was the Twin Mines.
Yeah, that was a Qual.
Oh, okay. All right, so Flower and Fall is going to head on to the town and consult with Dolly. In that case, Paul, what are you doing?
All right, so I'm gonna find the first, the first set of pirates, or what? Pretty much the first set of people who seem important. Approach them.
All right, so you're just going to start wandering Tortage, and the first people who look like they stand out, just approach them?
Yes.
Okay. And Asari, I know you initially were considering heading to the eastern side of town to potentially talk to the Thieves Guild, but I believe you changed your mind on that. What would you like to do?
I thought I was gonna go to talk to Dolly as well, or was I gonna go talk to? I was gonna go talk to the other, person, the dwarf, the little mouse guy.
Okay, so you're gonna speak to the halfling?
Yeah.
Okay. Asari, you start making your way to the upper levels of town where the halfling's magic shop is. Paul, you and the twins make your way out on the town, although you part not far out from the professor's hut, as Flower and Fall are planning to find Dolly, who usually skulks the alleyways. And Paul, you stick on the main thoroughfare, hoping to find important captains just through browsing. And Avaben, you kind of with your arms crossed, your bow slung over your back, wait for Anna to finish writing up, kind of scribbling a list before handing Greylog you a unspooled bit of parchment. And I know the names and the positions, but I haven't seen a lot of them, so I can't help you much on identifying them. And I'd be careful just asking for names with people like this.
Which one is the most important out of this list?
The most important, well, the Brethren are a republic, so none of them really particularly hold much position over each other. But and she kind of carefully kind of pulls the list down so that she can see it as well, and kind of takes a moment to view all of them. And he's not necessarily more important than any other. The title is more ceremonial than anything. But and she taps. Brother Taurus, Samuel Bellamy, the Pirate King of Nassau, but they act as more of just a tiebreaker for votes. Otherwise, if there was 12 of them, ties would probably be pretty common. So he's just there to break stalemates. The Pirate King title is more ceremonial than nothing else. But if you're looking for the highest authority of pirates, he'd be the closest.
Sounds good to me. That's one he's going to start trying to find.
Okay. If Aben, you watch as Greylog unfolds the list back up and strides out of the lab. And after a moment of silence, Kodagwal and Blue Moon heading out behind Greylog, leaving you alone with Professor Plaster and Anna. Anna kind of looks up and kind of glances at you curiously. And did you need something?
I was just wanting to say that concerning the claims I've heard, especially the more concerning ones, I was going to say that I would think it is best that this, even once we find the last key, until we know for certain that it's safe, we should not be opening this door.
Claims, huh? And she stops what she's doing and takes out a quill and paper. And what have you heard?
I guess I'll tell him the story that he was told by the elder. And how he's also heard others say it's a curse, and then he heard that story from the elder.
I see. I've heard the stories of Narsima, old Second Age warlord, King of Sylvestria. Others considered him a demon. Legend said that he was completely untouchable. Well, and she kind of bites her lip and looks at
I'm
the
not
professor.
saying that we never open it. I just am saying we need to confirm what's there before we do.
Professor Plaster, as Anna kind of looks to him for answers, kind of gives a low nod, and I'm inclined to agree. When our efforts are not needed elsewhere, we will devote our attention towards confirming what may be behind that door. Thank you for bringing these concerns to our attention, Mr. Uglotha.
You took that a lot better than Asari did. She immediately started trying to argue about it.
She was like that in college too. Always wanted to be the first to the dig site and the first to start digging. I've been at this for a while. I know that more often than not, you're gonna find something cursed if you keep digging. Honestly, I consider myself the luckiest student in the world just to have been able to find it. Most people don't even make it that far. And to be almost halfway to having all the keys, that's something else entirely. Honestly, if our quest stopped now, I'd still be happy. But, and she thinks for a moment and gives a kind of determined nod. We can't stop there. We have other people we need to make sure don't get their hands on enough artifacts. Our attention will be focused on that more than just getting the door open. And, if I see so much as a single boomerganger in town, you and your friends will be the first to know, I promise.
Of course. I do agree that we should keep trying to find the keys to stop others from opening it without any concern for what may be behind.
Aye. We'll keep an eye on it. The professor and I will do some research, and if anyone seems like they're about to get in your way, well, more than the obvious, we'll make sure that you're at least not alone to deal with it. Stay safe, and I understand that you have a bit of carousing to do.
Yes, if admittedly my people don't have the greatest experience with pirates living in a forest far away from the ocean. From what I heard, they do like to drink.
Yeah, that's been my understanding too. And you can see she kind of rolls her eyes a little bit and smiles. Good luck, and I suggest keeping your hands to yourself. They tend to stop fights once they get drinking.
Hopefully, if I can buy the right person the right drink, I can get our foot in the door at least.
Sounds good. Wish you luck, Avaben.
Maybe we'll head to the tavern.
All right.
That's where you said the drinking goes on, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's several taverns in a town like this, but yes. Okay. Just a hot second. There we go. Avaben. As you make your way through Tortage, you pass by Paul, who's scanning the crowd. You see Flower and Fall slipping into the alleyways, presumably to track down Dolly. Greylog making their way to the docks, and Asari up on the high rafters. Everyone is tending to their business, and Tortage is more crowded than ever. Despite being a, lived-in settlement, there doesn't tend to be huge crowds. Most people are kind of keeping to their territory and are smart enough not to walk these streets unless you are armed to the teeth and ready for a fight. But with so many ships in port and simply not enough beds for everybody, you see quite a few pirates and thieves are already out day drinking and kind of stumbling around, and you already can see thieves picking pockets, and you think you can actually spot Dolly in the crowd, seemingly auctioning off various things to pirates who are too drunk to question her prices. You make your way to the local tavern, where you recall you've stayed here yourself for several nights, traveling with the party. The bartender is a relatively quiet man who is close friends with Paul and allows you guys to stay here on the professor's dime, and is kind enough to forgive the disruptions you guys tend to bring in your wake. But as you enter the tavern, you immediately have to duck as a bottle is thrown over your head and
Classic.
smashes against the wall, and the bar is in complete chaos. You can see in the table nearest to you a pair, I say a pair of pirates, but these two pirates are in a heated argument with each other. And you can see that the pirate closer to you, who you can see is wearing this kind of just classic canvas cloth shirt, but a green jacket against the frequent winds and rains of Tortage, and a wide-brimmed black hat, is threatening what appears to be, you initially mistake him for a naval officer. You see another man with curly red hair and gleaming blue eyes, almost elven, with a equally wide-brimmed hat, but it's more of this kind of whitish blue color, and his uniform is much of the same. Gold bullion, buttons, coattails. He is way too upper class for this dive, and you can see him and the black-hatted pirate are in a heated argument with each other, and the black-hatted pirate is flanked by two of presumably his crew, and it looks like a fight's about to break out between these two. And you can see the one closer to you is already reaching for their cutlass. Across the bar, you can see a beautiful woman who you actually don't recognize at all, so presumably she's one of the newcomers. You see this tan-skinned woman with brown hair that's kind of tied back in a ponytail. She is curvy, and her uniform shows it. Rather than the traditional pirate's garb, she's wearing something almost akin to a ringmaster's uniform, circus wear. The reds and blacks, the gold shoulders, and some golden thigh highs that leave enough to the imagination to make the men swoon. A set of brown fingerless gloves, and her eyes are this gleaming turquoise color. And she's dressed in these heels that clack against the wooden floor. You can see all eyes are on her as she stands nearly all the way across the bar, and this kind of hush briefly comes over the denizens of the tavern before she takes a knife off a table, kind of twirls it between her fingers for a second before flinging it across the bar and embeds perfectly above the skull of another pirate who's tied up beneath it. He kind of whimpers and lowers his head into his shoulders, but everyone else just lets out a cheer and starts praising her, and you can see her going around giving high fives to everybody. Sitting at the bar, you can see a crew of dwarves who you can already tell they're in a crew because all of them are garbed in matching reds. While the actual clothes themselves are different, all of them have the same shade of red, all sitting at the bar together. They definitely seem to know each other and are just in loud, drunken conversation between each other. And you can see a lot of other colorful denizens in this tavern. You can see what appears to be an orcish and elvish man sitting together and talking, trying to kind of yell to make themselves heard over the din of the bar. You can see the poor bartender himself just dashing from person to person, trying desperately to keep some semblance of order in his already damaged establishment. And you can see this very handsome brown-haired man approaching the two closer to you, who it looks like the fight is actually about to start turning lethal as he draws his cutlass. And he kind of steps between them, and you can just make out under the din of the tavern, just, whoa, fellas, there's no reason to start the fighting already, all right? And he's kind of having to hold the black-hatted pirate back, who's like jabbing his cutlass in the direction of the sharply dressed man, who's kind of stepping back nervously, seeming like he didn't mean to agitate him that far. As you're surrounded by this utter chaos, nobody appears to have directly noticed you yet. Avaben, what would you like to do?
Well, Avaben is going to approach the bar, and he's going to order a drink for now, and he's going to try to basically spend a little bit of time paying attention to the people around and see if there's any interesting things he notes.
Okay, make a perception check, and for the drink... Alright, so make a perception check, and for the drink...
Also, this is in a building, so it's out of, like, the sunlight, right?
Yes. And assuming you're just getting, like, regular alcohol, then 4 copper pieces for a mug.
Alright, I got an 18 on perception, and... Is there anything that's, like, a gold?
As you ask the bartender this, he kind of seems surprised.
He's just gonna be like, all I have is gold. It'd be a lot easier. Instead of having to, let's see, it's 10 silver to a gold?
Yeah.
And so a gold is like 100 coppers?
Yes.
I think that'd be preferable to having to, how many copper was it? 3?
4.
It'd probably be easier for both of us if you weren't having to count up 96 copper coins.
Yes, sir. And he takes the gold coin and brings you a pretty hefty-looking bottle of what you recognize as elvish wine. And as he sets it in front of you, you can see several pirates have drawn their attention to you, noticing the exchange of gold and the purchasing of expensive liquor. And almost immediately, the dwarves next to you start kind of whispering to each other. And you notice the curvaceous ringmaster woman who's throwing knives kind of curiously glances at you and smiles. And as you look her way, you can see her give you a wink.
Avaben's just like, maybe I should have dealt with the 96 copper coins. Oh well. I have a backup plan if worse comes to worse.
Avaben, as you survey your surroundings, you dip into your wine, which to you tastes great, and you watch the surrounding chaos. Whatever fight was going on near the, what to you is now the back end, but, closer to the door, end of the tavern, seems to have de-escalated for now, although you notice the black-hatted captain kind of after he sheaths his cutlass, just kind of grumbles to himself and just storms out, like kicking open the door and leaving. As his two mates go with him, the sharply dressed man and the handsome man kind of turn and start talking to each other now. And you can see both look a little awkward and embarrassed at the scene, although theirs is by far not the most chaotic. The ringmaster woman kind of seems to be keeping an eye on you, but she goes back to what she was doing, mostly just throwing knives for the entertainment of the others. Although you do notice people seem to be buying her drinks every time she makes a particularly good throw. The poor pirate, she's throwing them over, getting like more and more nervous as his buddies keep putting stuff on his head for her to stick knives into. I will say, given your 18 of perception, as just something that you think might be helpful, you notice that every pirate just orders their own things. You notice the sharply dressed man doesn't seem to be drinking anything, and the dwarves obviously appear to be preferring dwarven ales. You notice that whenever pirates flock to the bar to order alcohol for the woman, they always specifically ask for a brand of rum called Red Drake.
Interesting. Are there any individuals who look like they're drinking a lot?
The ones who seem to be drinking the most are the orcish and elvish man you saw earlier, although the dwarves are giving them a run for their money. The dwarves' beards are soaked and sticky with ale. And the woman seems to be getting quite a few drinks in herself, as again, she is being rewarded with shots and mugs every time she gets a good set of throws. So she seems to be kind of getting whittled down herself. So in terms of the most drunk in the room, it's the orc and the elf, the dwarves, and this wildly dressed pirate woman.
You said that one of them's an elf, right?
Yes.
Alright, that's probably who Vaven would trust the most. Or at the very least trust the highest of the least.
Yeah. Better than humans, at least.
What do they appear to be drinking?
Giving them a look over, again, perception, I'll throw you a bone. The orc, you're not exactly you're not a wine guy. You don't know your alcohols just off the top of your head. The orc appears to be drinking something, frankly, you have no idea, but whatever it is, you can smell it from here, and it smells awful. The closest thing you can equate whatever he's drinking to, it smells like really old sweat, that kind of locker room smell. The elf, for their part, appears to just be drinking more of that Red Drake stuff that the wildly dressed woman is drinking. That's what you can identify at this distance. Although, do you want to like wait and see if the orc orders a refill and see if you can identify exactly what he's drinking, if that matters?
Alright, here's the idea. He's gonna tell the bartender that next time wants to come up for a drink, to tell them if they want a free round, if he'll basically get their next round if they're willing to have a little conversation real quick. You get what I mean?
All right, noted.
Get what I'm putting down.
Yeah, you picking up what I'm putting down? All right. The bartender kind of gives you a nod and, seeming a little, again, frazzled by everything going on, just tries to see about actually accomplishing all this. And it doesn't take too long. The orc seems like quite a heavy drinker. He approaches the bar and demands another round. And the bartender, kind of lowering his head, you try to avoid looking directly at him, obviously, as the bartender whispers an explanation. And you see the orc glance at you and kind of not take his eyes off you as he takes the drink and cautiously returns to his table and starts engaging in whispered conversation with the elf. You definitely got your message across. Now it's just a matter of seeing how they react.
Hello.
Hello. Good timing.
Hello.
All you missed was Avabin's scoping out the tavern.
Sounds good.
Flower and Fall, you said that you wanted to seek out Dolly. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, make an investigation check.
Okay. 1 second. Ooh, I gotta pull my dice out. I had to put them away because my cat likes to smack them around.
Yeah, valid.
She's
The ultimate cat toy.
Yeah, that's true.
Here is my D20. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Well, here I can do it on the thing.
Yeah, and if need be, I can roll for you.
Yeah. Investigation, right?
Yes.
How do you roll on the?
Just click the number.
Yeah,
on the right.
just click the plus sign next to your numbers.
Yeah, click the number.
Careful, D&D beyond his doo-doo dice.
You say that, I got like pretty good dice.
So, an 8.
Oh, yeah.
Ouch.
Okay. All right.
Doesn't help you have a -1. And
Yeah.
So all those two. So. Can't say much.
Flower and Fall, you kind of scour the town, and you occasionally get glimpses of the little wagon, but she appears to be kind of jumping from place to place, trying to definitely like pawn off a bunch of her crap while the pirates are in town. But it takes you a while of chasing her around, and you're no closer to getting a meeting with her. However, just as you're like essentially all circled all the way back to your starting point after following her for nearly an hour, you hear a voice pipe up behind you. Hi, I'm Dolly.
Oh. You surprised me.
Yeah, I tend to do that. And she lets go of the handle of the wagon and kind of kicks it so that it rolls up onto itself and just plops over her cargo. And she pulls with the wagon to be in front of her and leans on it casually and just, I saw you were following me around, scoping out the store. What can I do you for?
Well, we're here to ask you questions.
Ah, the most valuable thing of all, information. Well, that and money. Speaking of, how much you got?
Let me check my inventory real quick. I don't think I have very much.
Oh, we got a decent amount.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
didn't
I
they
do
get
have a
a
lot
lot?
of money. Cool. Well, how much do you want?
Depends on what you're asking.
Okay. I'm sorry, I can't really remember what we're asking. Like, we're asking to get in with the pirates, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I needed to jolt my brain a sec. Okay. Well, so, do you know a way to get in with the pirates?
Of course I do. You think I get as far importing totally legitimately without having some kind of in?
That's fair.
Now, are you asking to share the love?
Yeah. It's okay, I know I figured we would have to pay.
She holds out a plasticine hand. 25 gold for the first answer.
Okay.
She takes the gold and whisks it away into her little dress and smiles at you. I could get you and your friends into Plundon, but it's gonna cost you.
I figured. So how much per person? Also, would it count that I have an extra body?
As long as somebody trustworthy, well, and she kind of does air quotes, trustworthy, vouches that you're a twin mind, it should be fine. And Flowerfall, that kind of unnerves you because you don't recall telling Dolly that you were a twin mind.
Yeah. So there's other information we can tell her.
And Flowerfall, I will say, you notice she is looking you up and down with that kind of hungry look. She's trying to gauge how much money you have and how much she can pull out of you.
So, are you a twin mind too or something?
What, me?
Yeah, you know a lot of things.
Nope. I'm just a businesswoman.
Well, you're very good at it, I guess.
It's in the name. And she kind of lightly taps at the E sign.
That's fair.
She thinks for a second, crossing her arms, and eventually nods to herself, seeming satisfied. 3,000 gold for every head.
For everyone. Dang. Per person?
Yep.
Oh, dang. I have to do some math right now. So how many people are we bringing? Are we bringing any NPCs?
Not that's been specified. To just get the 5 of you aboard, it would be 15,000.
Oof, ouch, my bones.
Yeah, my money.
My poor money. But I do think it's fair considering how exclusive this is.
Sweet baby G.
I'm gonna pull out my poor aching wallet.
Do you have
By
that
that I
much
mean my
gold?
Yes.
She immediately puts both of her little hands out, and her eyes are gleaming.
Geez, you sure do like money, huh? So why is that? They're gonna like start handing her gold like in bits because both of their hands are small.
Yeah. As you guys keep exchanging sackfuls of gold, so knock 15,000 out of your inventory.
Yeah, one sec.
She kind of seems, kind of raises an eyebrow, seeming curious at the question, but eventually shrugs. Hey, do what you gotta do to survive. Nobody lives in this town for free.
I feel like she might have wanted to have talked to the party to see if they found it anything.
Too late. They didn't think that far ahead.
Yeah.
And hey, to be fair, there's no guarantee that any of you guys' stuff's gonna work.
What
With
is like
that-
Dolly's offer only on right here, right now?
Maybe.
Well, Flowerfall didn't ask. You gotta haggle. However, Dolly does keep her word. She immediately pulls what appears to be a primitive Rolodex out of her wagon, and kind of licking her thumb and flicking through it. 5 tickets to Plundon.
Oh, thank you.
Now, be real careful not to lose those. There's people in this town who would kill to get their hands on one.
I see. Well, thank you for the warning.
Want to make sure my favorite customers stay in one piece? Or, I guess I could take 2 pieces for you.
Yeah, that's just kind of how we are. Maybe we'll see each other again. Do you only operate here, or do you...
For now.
Yes. For now. Okay.
I'm hoping to expand someday, but I'm going to need to have a bit more expansive operations than one wagon. And she kind of kicks at the wheel.
Well, maybe with that money you can get another wagon.
Are you kidding me? She kind of clicks her heels together. I think I have a few favors to pay back. And she stuffs the money and hides it under some of her cargo before taking the handle of the wagon. And is that all you need?
Yeah, that's all we needed this time.
All right. Feel free to look for me. Remember, I'm Dolly. And starts to kind of walk off, the wagon squeaking behind her, significantly more weighed down with all the gold, as you can hear her kind of and the wagon kind of behind her.
I love Dolly so much.
I love her too. She's great.
Well, let's try to find everyone.
All right. Greylog.
Yeah.
List of members of the Brethren of the Coast in hand. You make your way down to the docks of Tortage, a place that's familiar to you with all of your salvage work. The cliffs and docks, ashy black from the volcanic ash from the center of Tortage. The docks are makeshift and sallow and cheap, but for the longest time at this point, it's been home. And home is crowded. You can see several pirates already gathering. Unlike the center of Tortage, which is a more healthy mixture between mafiosos and thieves and pirates, here it's almost exclusively pirates who are constantly coming to and from the various ships and seem to be just busying themselves with whatever their captains need, as obviously, with the situation being what it is right now, the docks of Tortage are a competitive spot to be unloading cargo. As you take a look around, what would you like to do?
Well, first off, he's keeping an eye on his wallet and possessions, just in case.
Okay.
And then he's looking for finely dressed pirates that don't seem to be really doing anything.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Uh, 24.
Okay. Looking around, thankfully, finely dressed pirates are generally few and far between, as you can imagine. You can see various figures darting to and fro, some getting into fights. You can hear the occasional gun discharge, although thankfully nobody seems to be fatally shot. However, you don't immediately see any explicitly finely dressed people who are just not doing anything. However, on some inspection, you are able to make out a few figures who stand out to you. Also, somebody's dog is barking in the background, so...
Oh, that's us.
Yeah, it's ours.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries.
Part of the atmosphere. I'm pretty sure there would be a lot of dogs barking in this environment.
You know, that's fair. All right, hang on, let me get my... Yeah, I have a lot of notes to flick through at this point. Looking around, you see a few pirates who seem well-dressed, although, again, doing nothing does not appear to be much of a factor. You see one pirate who does catch your interest, not necessarily for just their dress, but for what they are. You see a pirate dressed in relatively shabby clothing, all things considered. I mean, it's well kept, but it's clearly patchwork. A green overcoat with a white undershirt and an orange belt. Their pants are this kind of just patchwork of quilt, and their boots are this well kept but sandy orange. However, that's not what catches your attention. What catches your attention is the neck up. Above the shabby clothes and crossed arms as they kind of lean against the wall of the dock and survey their surroundings cautiously, you see their head is that of essentially a large oyster. You've seen a lot of therianthros in your day, but clam anthros is not one that you've seen before. And where the bivalve mouth hangs open, you can see nestled on the center tongue is a pearl, from which a pair of dark, gleaming, beady eyes glares out. The right one covered by an eye patch, and an ushanka covering the delicate center gemstone from the ashy skies of Tortage. On the docks themselves, you can see a very fat but incredibly well-dressed pirate. The classic tricorn and overcoat getup. However, the way his sense of dress does draw a bit of attention from you, as you notice he is wearing a wide variety of diamond and emerald rings and things of that nature. And you can see the ship he's boarding from is literally plated in gold and jewels with the carved figurehead of a lion. And you can see a lot of the pirates seem to be flocking to this part of the dock and like just screaming and cheering at them. And you notice they're not unloading cargo just in crates. They're unloading cages that are full of all kinds of animals, exotic ones. And it occurs to you that these people may be offloading for the fights. The only other person you see in a notable state of dress is one of the longboats, the rowboats that they use to get to and from their ships, is currently being loaded up with some crew. And among them, you see what appears to be a young girl, like very young, probably like 10, 11 or so maybe, with a pink undercut, gleaming blue eyes, and she looks over everyone in the longboat with a smirk. Not the kind of childish smirk of playing with a toy, the sadistic smirk of an adult who knows exactly what they're doing. These are the three figures that draw the most attention to you on the dock. Everyone else is either in relatively shabby dress or appears to be busy with something.
So, the child-looking one, they're in a boat. Are they heading in or are they heading out?
It looks like they're heading out.
Okay, then I'm going to let that one go.
Okay.
Can I see about... I want to go talk to the clam
Okay.
or oyster, whatever they were.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like same difference in this particular context anyway. Although I'll say it's closer to an oyster if that matters. All right. You approach the oyster man, who's just at the base of the staircase and hanging underneath it. While Paul and Flower and Fall are not here, you would recognize this spot where he's sitting as the same area where Anna had been cornered by the Boomer Gangers when you first arrived at Tortage. And almost immediately, Greylog, as you step down the stairs and approach the oyster therianthro nestled in the crook of the staircase, very fitting for a clam, his one remaining eye glares at you, and the clam mouth kind of shuts irritatedly, and you initially think that he's quite literally clamming up, but as it kind of opens slightly and he sees that you haven't gone away, they heave an uncharacteristically deep sigh and speak. While the clam mouth does jitter slightly, you can't tell where the voice is actually coming from when they speak. Is there something I can help you with?
I need some information, and I'm willing to make it worth your while.
Should have started with that, mate. All right. Information I can provide. Although, may I ask who's asking? And you can see his hand reach for a pistol on his belt.
I'm going to make no move to draw any sort of weapons. My name is Greylog.
Greylog. And what sort of information are you seeking?
I need to either find someone, or maybe you can help. I'm not sure. But I know about the pirate ship coming for the tournament, and I'm wanting to have some friendly wagers
Friendly
on the
wagers.
outcome.
You're a betting man, then.
Very much.
He sits up, kind of breaking from his lean on the rafters, keeping the staircase up, and steps towards you with a... And now he stands very close to you. And his height's fairly intimidating as he looks you up and down. And... And how worth my while you're willing to make this?
Let's see. I will pull out 36 gold and pass it to him. Is that enough for the time being?
He doesn't answer, but he does pocket the gold and patting his jacket pocket and looks around for a minute before looking back to you. Well, if you want to place some wagers, I'm not going to stop you. But given that you're asking me, may I presume that you do not have allowed entry into Plundon?
No, but I'm working on it.
Funny timing. Somebody just wants to play friendly wagers the moment we happen to lock Plundon off. And, I don't recall seeing you sailing with me or any of my mates in the past. You don't look like a pirate. Or a thief, for that matter.
Oh, pirate maybe not. Thief. I've done my fair share.
Well, then why not get the permission of your guild? I believe they still have a few tickets in circulation.
Because I don't work for anyone. I work for myself.
The
Less-
most trustworthy
less
of
cuts that way.
individuals. So, what? Are you bribing me to let you into Plundon?
Well, I'm looking for tickets. If you have them, I'll see if I can't buy them. If not, I'll look. I'll see if you can't help me find someone that does. Or if the bet is good enough that they will let me and my group on to participate in the tournament. And if we lose, y'all get the one. Y'all get the money. If we win, we get the money and we get spirit.
Now that is interesting. I'll admit, you've got my attention, but I don't make the decisions on who does or doesn't board Plundon unless you're looking to join my crew.
I've got my own group.
That's what I thought. He's silent for a minute as he kind of surveys the surroundings and contemplates and kind of looks back to you, glaring from his one remaining beady eye. Understand, I don't know you. I don't particularly like you. And with all due respect, I'm not letting someone who could potentially be an enemy spy onto London. What little I have left of a conscience can't nurse that. So,
Oh,
unless you've
I
got
have
something
no ill
valuable to
will.
offer me in return besides coin, I suggest you either go to the locker or be on your way.
Yes, something valuable. Trying to look at something real quick.
If you want, we can come back to you.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, Paul. As you make your way around the winding alleys and thoroughfares of central Tortage, not particularly leaning into one territory or the other, the de facto, I can't even call it neutral ground more than it is no man's land. In the months you've lived here, you know that the area you're exploring, while pirates do freely flock to it, it just as often results in shootouts between pirates, slavers, gangsters, and guild members. So you're not in safe territory, but you're not in territory that beholds you to anyone. With that said, and you are muted in case you're talking. With that said, Paul, as you survey your surroundings, you said you just want to look for any individual that stands out. All right. In that case, make me a perception check. Paul, kind of looking around, as mentioned, you glimpse Dolly and Flower and Fall chasing after them a few times in your search. Again, sticking to the main thoroughfare, not taking your chances in the gang or thieves guild territories or the slavers in the northern jungles. You search the surrounding central area around where that defaced noose in the center of town lies. And at the moment, most of the people who seem to be of deliberate notoriety have either gone to their destinations or are at their ships, especially this early in the day. However, I will say you notice two figures who gather your attention, at least to some degree. You see, making their way out from the bar, that black-hatted figure I mentioned earlier, who seems drunk and angry and sheathing their blade as they grumble to themselves, followed by two of their mates. You see just kind of ambling in the general vicinity of the tavern. They don't seem drunk, more just seem like they're just wandering. You see a tall, muscular, blonde-haired pirate in an overcoat guiding along a blonde-haired boy. They seem to be related in some way, although you don't recall seeing them around here, so you don't know if maybe they just live here. But you can't imagine they'd be pirates with a boy that young. So you just see the father seems to be guiding the boy about. And not too far from the hangman's noose, you see a goblin donned in a tricorn. That is the only indication you have that they might be a pirate. Otherwise, they look like a completely unremarkable goblin. So I'm checking to make sure I'm not missing nothing. I had a description for you, little goblin pirate. Where did I put you? There you are. I loved you so much, I put you in a separate document. You see that the goblin has green skin and red eyes. And again, are donned in a tricorn and some very basic leather garments. So those are the three figures who catch your attention the most. Okay. You see the goblin is currently looking at the sign that, as mentioned before, and originally it said, "Pirates ye be warned," but "pirates" has been crossed out, so it's just a warning to everyone. The goblin is kind of looking over it curiously, and seems like they're actually trying to, like, sound it out, almost like they can't read super well. And you notice on approaching them that, in addition to the hat, there is actually one other thing that distinguishes them that you hadn't seen at a distance as you approach them. You see that they are covered in a huge variety of brightly colorful tattoos. Between the hat, the wide array of multicolored tattoos, and just being a goblin who doesn't appear to be particularly bright, you're starting to worry that this guy's basically begging to get mugged in this town. As you approach him, again, he seems to be just kind of quietly sounding out the letters, but on seeing you approach, they immediately, like, bowl over backwards completely with a and kind of peeking up at you whenever they realize you're not, gutting them, kind of looks around and adjusts their tricorn and stands up to their not at all imposing height, because even for a goblin, they seem rather squat. And looks up at you, Paul, as you both stand in the shadow of the hangman's noose.
Can I help you?
Well, first off, I do apologize for startling you. Wasn't my intent.
That's alright, you're just a big guy.
Secondly, I was wondering if you knew anything about this whole event that seems to be going on.
Oh, the Doomspell tournament?
Sounds about right.
Sure, man, what do you want to know?
Well, me and my acquaintance are trying to get ourselves in, so do you have any way of us being able to do that?
Well, if you join my crew, you can get in.
What would joining your crew entail?
You'll have to sign your name.
And that is all?
Pretty much, yeah.
Sounds simple enough.
I'd understand if you have difficulty with it.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything I should note of joining your crew, I guess?
Oh, yes. We are the most bloodthirsty pirates to ever sail the seas. My name's Captain Nifty.
My name is Paul.
Now, you will be a bit... You'll stand out a bit like a sore thumb on my crew. Most of my crew is, green, you see. Unless you're just a very, very pale orc. Are you a pale orc?
He thinks to himself, As far as I can remember, I don't believe I am.
I'd understand if you forgot.
Yeah. Memories are foggy for me. So, would joining your crew entail that I would also have to be bloodthirsty?
He kind of thinks for a minute, kind of squinting one of his eyes, and...
I suppose not. You will have to wear a hat, though.
What kind of hat?
Bicorn, tricorn, or bandana.
I can work with that.
Perfect. Well, if If you want to come back to the ship, I'll sign you on right away.
All right. Lead the way.
Oh. One more thing. What's your name?
My name is Paul.
Paul. Like a ball. And, my crew and I are planning to compete in the tournament. Do you want to compete with us?
That would be a bit, difficult as my group, it seems like there's a chance of our group competing as well.
And if he doesn't seem to spot the obvious issue with you being on his crew but competing on your own, so he just gives like a completely understanding nod, and just okay, come along. I'll sign you on right away.
Yeah, they were both making stupid decisions. Seems. Yeah.
Yeah, Paul just shows up with a fucking pirate hat and just the goblin said, "As long as I wear a hat, I'm a pirate."
Yeah, I'm a pirate now, apparently.
Sorry. As you work your way through the upper railways of Tortage, you eventually make your way to the magic item shop. And pushing your way inside, you see that it's surprisingly not super occupied. And the halfling man is just kind of lounging at the counter. Although you do see they are counting out a healthy supply of coins and seem in pretty good spirits. And as you look up and enter, they give you a wave with their paw. Hello again.
Hello.
Oh, I suppose it has. How you doing with all of that going on outside? I'm making a killing.
I'm sure you are. I was very surprised that nobody was here. I'm actually quite pleased. I have some things for that.
Well, all's the more convenience for you. Luckily, it's to be expected. Once the brethren buy out some of my stock, most of the other captains can't really afford me. But I've made more than enough to keep the roof over my head and fund some of my future journeys. And he gives you a wink before patting the other side of the counter. Come on. What are you looking for?
I'll walk over. I'm not exactly sure how to phrase it, properly, but my friends and I get aboard the ship. Pete.
Plundon.
Yes. You seem like to be a person on. Maybe you could give me some advice, or maybe we could fight for you. You know?
The halfling kind of gives a guilty grin, and I'm afraid I'm decently well off, but I don't carry the kind of influence that I'd need to make it onto Plundon. I'm planning to get on just the old-fashioned way.
What, are you gonna sneak on?
Obviously.
What if you get caught?
Oh, more's the pity for the pirates.
There's just a kind of blank expression on Asaria's face, so it's a little hard to read with the dragonborn look that she has on now. She'll just kind of give a nod. Well, if you're sure.
As for you did ask for advice. They think for a minute, and now I will admit this is a tricky situation. If you're going to get on Plundon, you're either going to need to get your hands on some tickets, which those do not sell for cheap, or you're going to have to get new ones from one of the criminal organizations around here. The Thieves Guild or the Family down on the west side. I feel like the Slavers may have a few, but I think you should probably avoid dealing with them altogether.
Just not like we're not exactly friends with the Thieves Guild.
Made a few enemies?
When you're in our line of work, you tend to make a few of those.
They give a bit of a shrug, and, well, if you're not going to be able to hit the Thieves Guild, and I'd strongly advise against checking the slavers, they're just as likely to turn you into cargo than give you a ticket, your only other chance is heading to the west side.
That's this.
You're gonna have to either get closer to the mic or.
Sorry. That's where I've been went, right? The west side.
Well, the tavern is in the western direction, but the west side, nobody's gone there yet. You know from your time here that it is controlled by a local mafia family.
Maybe I'll check with Ivan. He's gone to the taverns. Maybe he's found something interesting. But I thank you for your advice. I guess west is the best.
Best of luck. The Dawn's reasonable, don't get me wrong, but he's an intimidating guy. I'd just make sure you do whatever he asks you to do, and I'm sure he can hook you up.
What is he like?
He's friendly. At least he is to me. I've heard some things, but he kind of hesitates and thinks for a minute, and he's not an unfriendly guy, but he's intimidating. He's got this air about him that makes you just want to listen to him, and the things he knows, the things he can do. The halfling kind of gives a shrug and kind of tilts their head at you. Best way I can describe it is, it feels like you've known him all your life, and yet you still know nothing about him.
I think I know something.
But if you do need to pay him a visit, just tell him I sent you. At the very least, that'll get you in the door, but I'm afraid I can't promise your safety from that point onward, so watch your mouth, make sure you kiss his hand, and whatever you do, don't say anything disrespectful to him or about his children.
I wouldn't. It's not, nice.
The halfling kind of gives a smirk, and, well, you understand my point.
I do. Thank you for your advice.
Oh, before you go, one other tip. If you do end up visiting the Don, like I said, my name will get you in the door, but if you want to get in his good graces, there's this dwarfen beer that they're selling in the tavern. It's got a funny-looking dwarf's face on it, kind of bubbles, brownish color. Get some of that stuff.
You know the name?
I believe it did. What was it? And the halfling kind of stops and thinks for a minute, kind of struggling to remember. And just, you gotta understand, I don't drink that crap myself. Has a bit too much kick for my tastes. If I recall, Chief's beer, I think it was something like that.
It's a dwarven beer with a face on it.
Yeah, little face like in those little drawings you see. Trust me, you'll know it when you see it. Just get the most bubbly beer you can see if it's got a dwarf face on it. That should be the right one. Bring that stuff with you. The Dawn loves that stuff, goes crazy for it.
Alright, that is solid advice. I will go and try to see if I can acquire some.
Best of luck.
And
if you're going to see Avaben, tell him I said hi.
I will definitely tell him.
Thanks, dear.
See you soon.
All right. So that's actually a good segue. We'll just loop around.
Yeah, I'm going to make my way to where...
Okay. Avaben, you do have a little bit before before Sorry arrives. Evaben, you sit. The orc and the elf kind of chat amongst themselves for a moment before eventually standing and beginning to approach you. Seeing them closer now, you're immediately a little intimidated. The orc is massive, easily scratching 9 feet tall, possibly taller. He's dressed in this relatively nice-looking kind of not quite velveteen, but kind of almost silken-looking garb. Although it is sleeveless and practical looking. Almost like the equivalent of a dress shirt for such a big, imposing figure. And you can see a vicious-looking pair of blades on their belt. And their hair, like it is for most orcs, is this greasy black. The elf, on the other hand, is pretty much the exact opposite. A borderline malnourished looking, skinny, short, lanky looking elf. Although their hair is done up, it doesn't hide the damage that sea air and unwashed grease has done to it. And even they, while their hair is tied back and well kept, it is still heavily damaged by air and grease. And doesn't complement the otherwise well-garmed visage. But as they approach you, the orc seems kind of suspicious and cautious and just takes a seat next to you, completely blocking your view of the dwarves you were sitting next to with his imposing bulk. And you can hear some of the dwarves start complaining and yelling at him, although he ignores them. And the elf sits on your other side and immediately places both hands on the counter and looks at you with a wide, almost manic-looking grin.
Does the elf have a lot of scars?
Yes, like looking at them close up, while they appear to have been treated and faded well, which is why you didn't notice them immediately, on closer inspection, they are a Frankenstein of stitchwork and scars. The orc doesn't look a whole lot better, but it seems like the elf particularly got the butt end of that. And given his less than stellar physique, you imagine he's been on the losing end of one too many fights. From the looks of him, he appears to be a wood elf. Beneath the grease and air, he appears to have the kind of tawny color that most of the wood elves of Sherwood did. But that could just be the lighting and, again, damage from grease. And given the effort he puts into his appearance, you wouldn't be surprised if he's dyed it. His skin is paler than you expected, but still decently weathered by time in the sun. And this elf doesn't even give you a chance to do much more than observe him before he immediately places one hand on the counter and the other on your leg as he leans into you far too comfortably for someone you just met. And just, wow, look who's buying us some drinks.
As long as you're willing to have a little talk about something.
I'm always willing to have a little chit-chat. Ain't that right, Chops? And the orc just gives a...
Oh, I got one name. What's yours?
The elf kind of stares at you for a second, and their gaze is hard to read. And they kind of look you up and down, seeming like... And you can tell they're judging if you are worthy of that information, given how kind of jumpy the pirates are right now. And how about this? We'll get through this negotiation, and if I decide I like the cut of your jib, I can tell you my name after. How about that? I'm on one too many wanted posters to go giving it out freely. You understand. I'm sure you understand.
Understandable. Well,
That's what I said.
Then I'll cut to the chase. Me and some associates are very interested in certain opportunities, and I hear the pirates are putting on one of those opportunities. You seem like you might know somebody who might have at least a little information about it, if not a way in. I assure you, we would put on a good show.
You wanted to join as fighters, huh? Well, that's certainly something that my friend and I here can negotiate for you. We certainly have the connections, but... And his head whirls over to you, and he kind of peeks up with a grin as the orc pipes up in a low growl. We're being hunted. How do we know we can trust you?
Well, I'm buying you drinks, aren't I? If I was hunting you, surely I would have waited for you to be, for example, walking around at night and, when you're not looking, just does like a does like a finger gun on his head.
Nice try, kid, but, and he taps to his scarred face. I didn't get these just from sword fights, At least not the conventional kind. A lot of these are from people who bought me drinks first. Try again.
Well, if nothing else, I haven't tried to. My crew are mostly just. We've been involved in a few things. Have you heard any incidences lately?
There's always some kind of incidents or another going on. Gonna have to be a little more specific. And some of them are our doing. And he gives a wink.
To basically show you that we're not associated with whoever's chasing you. I don't even. They must be pretty bad, whatever they are, but we were involved in some incidences on. What were the continents we've been on?
Levant, Perugia, and. No, that's it, actually.
There was some things going on, and then there's that whole issues in Perugia. I don't know if you know anything about that. Down in the forest.
He does stop and think for a minute, and he kind of stares at you for a long moment, and kind of, again, looks you up and down, and...
Yeah, would I really be buying you drinks if I had any ill intentions? Seems very inefficient.
You're all right that I've heard stories of some of these incidences, managed to even glimpse a few myself. But how do I know you weren't one of those making those incidences happen? I heard the Dark Elves were on the front lines in Sherwood Forest.
Well, me and my crew were brought in to deal with the situation in a way. I had to deal with the Dark Elves pretty much as I had to deal with the other guys. Yeah, long story short, me and my people don't really agree.
Ah, you're adventurers then.
Yeah. Which is why we want in on this. We like getting ourselves into these kinds of situations, and we hear there's a very interesting prize.
Indeed there is. Spear of Ares. Normally, I'd be a little more hesitant to bring aboard a potential competitor, but the captain's not planning on competing this year, so we'll be sitting this one out. More's the pity for us, I suppose. But... And he kind of leans forward and... My captain's not the biggest fan of your people. Not... And he gestures to your body. More, he's not a fan of those in your line of work. And I'm going to need some motivation to convince him to sign you on to get you aboard, if that's what you're asking. And you can see the orc kind of glare at the elf, seeming like he himself doesn't like it. This seems like the orc would just much rather either knock you out and leave or just walk away, but the elf seems like he's really in to try and get something out of this.
What did you have in mind? And if it makes you feel any better, just think of us less as official adventurers and more just mercenaries, like what you already hired to fight the battle.
The elf kind of gives a smirk and kind of twirling a dagger between their fingers. They had pulled it out so fast you actually hadn't seen it initially. And it kind of spooks you a little bit as they whirl it between their fingers. And you start to wonder if that itself may have something to do with the sheer amount of scars that cover their body before eventually they bring the dagger to a stop. And Fabian, make a persuasion check.
I did have him ask what he was wanting, right?
Yes.
Okay. persuasion check. Oh boy. Hopefully this goes well. What's my persuasion? Could be worse. Dirty 20.
The elf contemplates for a long moment before... All right. Give me some time to run it by the captain and do a little bit of a check on you. Make sure that you are who you say you are. And if we can confirm that you're not one of those looking for us, then sure. We'll sign you aboard and see about getting you into the tournament. Although you're going to need to talk to Plundon's captain to actually enter the fights, but he'll be more than happy to see you in person once he's met with all of us.
Who might it be that's chasing you? They must be pretty serious if they can get all the pirates this spooked.
Pirate hunters.
Don't y'all probably kill people like that all the time?
Normally, but he kind of hesitates and seems like he's debating how much more he wants to say, but after a while, kind of shakes his head. This time's different. That's all you have to know. Point is, we're trying to be careful with who we let in. Our guy's proven that he's more than willing to involve civilians in his one-man war on piracy, and I'm not looking to have to slit your throat if it means protecting the captain.
Understandable. The rest of the people I'm working with, they've been, I will admit, just so you don't come back later, like, why were they poking around here? We've kind of made it upon ourselves for all of us to try and find a way in. Cast many nets and all that.
That won't be suspicious.
That's why I'm admitting to it here, so you don't come back with it later. If we were up to something suspicious, I'm fairly certain I wouldn't be admitting to it right now, would I?
You'd be surprised. And he takes a swig of the drink you had bought him. For instance, if I wanted to be careful, I wouldn't even admit I was a pirate. But I've already admitted to you that I'm a wanted man on the run from pirate hunters. That alone was not the smartest move.
I'd just like to think I made a convincing argument.
Oh, you caught me on a good day. And tipsy. He pats you on the shoulder and... Buy me a few more of these and I'll put in a good word for you with the captain. Although, telling you now, if he doesn't like what he finds, I'll kill you myself.
Oh, I'm sure he won't. I hope he won't find too much. I'll probably be staying in the tavern if you have anything you want to bring up to me.
He gives you a kind of somewhat sarcastic, but more just like dismissive salute, and turns to the bar.
B, by the way.
Who's asking?
Someone looking to work out some kind of arrangement, obviously. It helps to know who I'm working with.
He kind of looks you up and down again, and if he likes what he finds, I'll tell you who he is. Or more, he'll tell you himself.
Alright, Avaven's gonna take a shot in the dark here. Would he happen to have anything to do with an Ares?
Nope, can't say he does.
Interesting.
I mean, there's an Ares in the Brethren, but...
Must be why I keep hearing that name.
Yeah. 13 members of the Brethren, and if any of them fall, replaceable.
It seems like you have a very well set up system.
The captain sure likes to think so.
Well, I hope that I can I hope that a civil meeting between me and your captain is possible. He sounds like a very interesting individual.
You
He
think he's
definitely
interesting, you
runs
should meet his son.
Does he tend to yell about things a lot? Because I remember I heard a pirate yelling at getting into a shouting match with a smaller pirate some time ago in Frisia.
He shakes his head. Nah, he's a pretty quiet guy, all things considered. And his son's pretty tall.
Well, I'll be waiting if you have anything more, or if I hear anything else.
Aye, aye. And he slaps on the bar. 3 more for me and the big guy on this guy's tab. Sorry, it's about at this point you walk in. The bar scene has not settled, but as drinks are distributed, they appear to be going from the sort of hyperactive stage of drunk to just the kind of low, the low sway of it. And you see the handsome man and the sharply dressed man from before sitting close to the door. The sharply dressed man does not appear to be drinking and is engaged in conversation with a slightly tipsy-looking handsome man. The woman in red has stopped throwing knives at this point, as even she seems to acknowledge that it is far too unsafe for her to be throwing knives this drunk. But she does laugh and celebrate with the rest of the tavern goers, and seems to be leading them in a drunken shanty. And you kind of step out of the way as you enter, as 2 pirates drag the tied up individual still in his chair out onto the streets of Tortage. And you see a Vaben sitting at the bar with a elvish man, an orcish man, and a row of dwarf pirates in red, all sitting at the bar, worked by a very overworked and frightened bartender.
Oh boy. I'm not gonna go over to Evaben because I suspect that he is trying to do what I'm here to do.
Yeah, he's got his own business running.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt, and I don't want to blow his cover either. So, I guess I'll just kind of find a seat at the end of the bar. Maybe order a drink or two, just kind of survey the lay of the land for now.
Okay. Make a perception check.
Okay. I do that. First. And it rolled away. Okay, time to use another die. Oof. 19.
All right. Looking around, you see the dwarf pirates have gotten very drunk at this point. And the elf and the orc appear to be going the same route. Avaben, for his part, appears to be keeping his drinking pretty humble, although you do see a glass in his hand. The woman in red is still leading the pirates in her drunken shanty. Yeah, you do notice quite a sway to her step and a lurch in her singing. Although her voice itself is beautiful and does have, I will say, you notice a distinct Britannian accent.
Ooh. Okay.
And the 2 men near the front are just engaged in conversation with each other. You can't hear what they're saying, but their conversation appears to be the most quiet and civil among these otherwise gregarious and loud sailors.
I'm gonna go to the woman in red. Actually, I'm gonna order a drink. Can I see what she's drinking?
Yeah, I'll say with your perception, you notice as she finishes up her glass, she appears to be drinking Red Drake, which you remember is a Britannian rum.
All right, so I'll order 2.
That'll be 8 copper.
8 copper. I think I have a silver somewhere.
Yeah, you can just leave a silver and say 2 copper is the tip.
Yeah, okay, I'll just leave a silver.
All right. You get 2 mugs of Red Drake. Anything else, or are you going to approach her?
I'm gonna approach her with my extra thing of rum and just kind of offer it to her and be like, "Can I offer you a drink?"
Oh yeah, sure. You know what? I was gonna stop for the day, but I need to do some day drinking to segue into the night drinking.
That's one mole, right?
You are massive.
Thank you. You are gorgeous, if I do say so myself.
Oh, please, you may. She holds out a hand to you, still shrouded in the fingerless brown glove. Captain Scarlet.
Okay, what was her name?
Captain Scarlet.
I will take her hand and I will shake it firmly. Sorry, doctor.
Oh, doctor.
In archaeology.
Oh, what brings you to this dive? And she immediately starts downing the drink you bought her.
Yeah, I'll kind of sip the rum. I'm not much of a drinker, but I'll drink, sure, socially. I'll just kind of lean against the table. Well, I saw you here, and you caught my attention. Are you gonna go to the tournament? I'd love to see what you can do.
Oh, are you kidding? I'm competing.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I'd recommend placing your bets on me.
You got room for more on your team. I, myself, and my friends are very good fighters.
Oh, you looking for work?
No. I'm sure that we could come to some kind of agreement. I mean, you being just, I'm sure you're an amazing captain as you are an amazing person.
Make persuasion check.
Okay. I can do that. Persuasion. 3. Alright, don't fuck me. What? Ooh!
Or do fuck.
Or do fuck me, yeah. That would be 18.
She kind of considers for a moment, again, being in something of a drunken haze, and eventually... you know what? Sure. We could use a few, strong fighters on the team. Most of my crew is more on the finesse side of the table, if you know what I'm saying. Put a few more points into dexterity than strength.
I'm gonna just kind of like lean a little forward and show her my little staff. And I'm gonna cast infestation and just kind of like the little creepy.
Remember, you have to target a person with that.
I do. Oh man.
Not a good impression to target her.
She okay? Is there like a light or like a candle?
I'll say for flavor, like just purely for flavor, you can. I'm just like saying as a side note. Yeah. So yeah, insects start to kind of swarm around your staff.
They can target me. Can I target myself since I'm literally a person?
Wait, you're a person?
Shut up.
Sure.
All right, so I just kind of like let them crawl all over me and take a little nibble, and I'll just be like, "There's a lot of things I can do." I know, right?
Make a Constitution save.
Okay. Let's see, what is my constitution? Oh, I'm proficient in this. Ooh. Yeah, I pass an 18.
Okay. The bugs swarm you, and she can see welts forming on your scales, but you otherwise don't react, and just... not half bad. Spellcaster and durable to boot. Not a frequent combination. She takes another sip of the rum, and... what the heck. I could use an edge on the team. Sure. And she kind of runs a hand through her hair and pulls at her ponytail kind of offhandedly. I'll want to take a look at the rest of them, but sure, I'd be willing to let you on the team. But understand, I'm not going to split the prize. I intend to take that home myself. But I'd be more than willing to share any other winnings and the adoration of our fans with you.
They are going to just love us, Garen.
Oh, I bet. I tend to be quite a crowd pleaser.
That's what I've heard. I've heard you're very good.
Oh, you've heard of me?
Well, I mean, they were cheering for you when I walked in.
All right. And you see her give a bit of a smirk. You can tell that she's kind of like, despite her drunken state, she does seem savvy and aware enough to, like, probe you. While she's not giving off the same kind of paranoid, like, claustrophobic air of the other pirates, you can tell she's being cautious. Meet me back here tomorrow afternoon. Bring your friends. I'll give them a look over and see how I'm feeling. I do it tomorrow morning, but I'm going to have quite the hangover after today. Just arrived in London this morning, and... no, not London, silly. It's Tortage. Arrived in Tortage this morning, and frankly, I intend to make the most of my haul.
As you should. Can I ask you, are you from Britannia?
She kind of, again, hesitates and mulls it over for a moment before. Maybe I am. May have sailed the waters once or twice.
You were. I went to the university there.
She kind of looks you up and down, and you do have something of a scholarly demeanor about you, and you don't look like the rough and tumble sort who's after me.
There are people after you.
When isn't there? And she takes a seat at the table and just kind of gestures to the table across from her and puts one of her legs up on the just kind of center mass of the table, which, given her somewhat revealing clothing choice, does give you probably a bit more of a view than she intended. And she raises the glass, and pirate hunters from all over the world are coming together after us. We've got ourselves in something of a sticky spot. But that's why we're calling this little meeting. Put our heads together and see if we can somehow make it out of this scrap.
Maybe my friends and I can help somehow.
I doubt it. You're strong, but what we need is numbers, capable fighters, and a plan. And frankly, I'm not sure if I intend to see it through. There's talk of a lot of us retiring rather than fight. Me, I'm thinking of returning home, maybe starting my own circus like I always wanted.
Oh, that would be brilliant.
Hey, if you can help me win this thing, I'll give you and your friends free tickets for life. Spear of Ares would be quite the centerpiece for my circus.
Oh. People would see you from near and far, that's for sure.
Just maybe. And,
Oh,
you first. You first.
oh, no, I was just gonna, order another drink. What were you going to say?
I was just... Make sure you... Dr... what was your name again? I'm sorry.
Dr. Koo.
Koo. Well, Dr. Koo, take a good look around, because this may be the last great gathering of pirates.
Take a look around and just, I'll kind of hang out with her for a little bit,
Okay.
hang out.
Okay. Paul. You're taken down to the docks by this Captain Nifty, who takes you down the stairs, across the way, to one of the filthy docks, a few rows down from where you had been fishing when Avaven arrived. And in port, you can see is stationed a... certainly a boat. What you see before you is what appears to be an orcish-crafted boat, which... you probably wouldn't know this off the top of your head, but it's more for river sailing than it is for outright sailing at sea. The vessel overall is kind of almost tank-shaped, rather than the kind of U shape that boats would have. This sort of tank-shaped vessel with a wheel on the back, like a water wheel, and on the front, towering over the dock of Tortage, is this massive rusty drill. And then behind that drill, you can see a tower on which you can see a few goblins with rifles. Well, I say rifles, but they're more just essentially blunderbusses and pistols stationed below the flag, which is proudly flying black colors. Some spikes lining the sides, and the ship itself is painted this kind of emerald green color. With yellow stripes. And as Nifty takes you on board, you immediately find yourself the center of attention as goblin pirates just gawk openly at you. You are muted if you're talking, by the way. Okay. You can see what appears to be a goblin woman wielding a massive hammer that's almost as big as she is. You can see this kind of shady-looking goblin with a hooded cloak kind of staring at you from the not the crow's nest, but like from the tower. This kind of swaying, elderly-looking goblin. Although, when I say elderly for a goblin, more their face is wrinkled, and they have this very kind of messy patchwork hair. All these different goblins just going to and fro, all just stop what they're doing completely to stare at you. The captain, your little friend, looks around, seeming kind of confused, and...
What? What's the matter?
And after a long silence, the goblin, watching from the tower, pipes up, yelling down, but loud enough to echo and be heard by all. I'm not cleaning up after his poo! Captain Nifty looks up to you with a grin and, taking you by the hand, walks you over to the little central tower mechanism, and, pushing the doors open, takes you inside. Inside, you find yourself in what you think is supposed to be a set of captain's quarters. And to its credit, it's somewhat functional. You can see it leads out onto a balcony that overlooks the drill, presumably so that you can actually, see what is being drilled into. But the office itself that you're in is very kind of messy and cluttered, and you can see a hat rack that has just like 20 different hats. You can see a beret, a cap, a top hat, a fedora, a beanie, a little Oshanka, a Stenson, just all these different hats. And the whole place has this weird kind of silvery mercury smell to it. Nifty just slides over his desk and lands in his chair with a and falls, and it like there's just this clatter and crash as he falls to the ground before picking himself back up, fixing his chair and sitting in it.
Okay. So you said you wanted to join the crew?
All right. And they kind of start rifling around in the drawers and just
mousetrap.
Apparently, nobody listened to Avaben with that conversation on their way out of Perugia. No consultation of anybody about what they found. They're just gonna do it.
Well, to be fair, Asari was going to confirm with you, but didn't want to interrupt your plan. Paul got kind of dragged off, and Flower and Fall literally just did their thing.
I mean, he could just say, let me consult with my acquaintances.
Well, I mean, worst case scenario, you guys all can get your own way in and then go from there. Also true. Eventually, Nifty pulls out a very filthy-looking roll of parchment and rolls it out in front of you. And the common is somewhat chicken scratch and illegible, but you see that it seems to be a kind of summation of different rules to follow on the ship, the names of the captain, who is Nifty, and your name to be signed at the bottom. All right, do you want to read the fine print? All right, make me an investigation check, just to see if you can spot any like little hidden problems. Okay. I mean, credit where it's due, man. All right. Looking over the rules, it appears to be a very basic, just set of laws. And reading through it, you realize that this is actually the Pirates Code. What is written here, you see, is rule number 1. The fund of your payment is based on how much you pillage. In other words, if you don't steal anything, you don't get paid. So, sucks to be you. The only rule 2. The exceptions to Rule 1 are the captain, the carpenter, and the shipwright, who will receive a sum at minimum, but not anywhere below 150 silver pieces. And 200 silver pieces will be granted for provisions and living necessities. And compensation for the surgeon and his medicine, 250 pieces of silver. It mostly goes on with things of this nature, just several very basic rules for maintaining order. In the rules that you were handed, which again, they're somewhat chicken scratch and simple, and you're a little worried that the goblins themselves may not completely understand the rules that they're actually following. in the end, the only rule you spot that I guess just catches your attention as something worth noting is that the captain makes 6 times what the crew does. So if you do go with this plan, there is a chance that Nifty, if he's smart enough, could declare that the Spear of Ares and whatever you win from the tournament is his share, especially with it being so rigged against you. And that you cannot hide or lie about your take. So you would be in direct violation of this contract if you were to, for instance, win and not tell Nifty about it. Beyond that, though, the rules seem relatively fair, or at the very least not concerning to you. Basically, just don't slack off, don't cause any trouble, don't do anything stupid, basically. I will mention if you are about to do something in violation of it, but again, the rules are relatively basic and obvious for the most part. I won't make this a big thing of just reading pirate jargon.
Well, same rules would apply to all of them. They said they're offering the Spear of Ares as the prize.
Make a persuasion check.
No, I want to tip the drill with it.
God, that was so hot and cold. He rolls a natural 20, and then he rolls a natural 1.
I was literally over here chanting natural one. I never accepted that. I'm sorry.
Whenever he said natural 1, I literally went, oh!
Oh!
I accepted that. I'm so sorry.
If you want the sphere, you're going to have to win it. And I'll warn you, my crew and I are, we're the underdogs this year. You got some stiff competition. I understand. A pirate's life's not for everyone. It's just for me, I've been told. Maybe.
He kind of like gets out of the chair and scuttles past you and opens the door, just leaving you in his quarters completely unguarded as you can hear him scream out, "Are any of you pirates?" And you can hear like just shouts from other nearby ships, just "Shut up!" and you can hear arguments starting among the goblins themselves. Like, you can hear that one who had yelled at you earlier, just, I prefer to think of us as asset relocation specialists.
I think that we're just really aggressive merchants.
What are we selling?
We're selling cannonballs very fast. Your thing sounds stupid. Asset relocation specialist.
Oh my god. I'm gonna die for these goblins, I swear.
More like asset sea location specialists, because we're on the sea, and that makes it spell ass, which is what that idea is.
These goblins. It'll spell ours.
Paul, you just kind of quietly leave the captain's quarters and make your way across the derelict vessel, where the goblins are still yelling at each other, and the captain seems no closer to resolving the actual question of if they're goblins or pirates or not.
And is there the other ship still telling them to shut up?
Yeah, like the other ship is just fucking complaining that these goblins just won't shut the fuck up.
They're probably like considering if they can fire their cannons here.
Yeah, maybe they should just sell them some cannonballs.
All right, Paul, where are you gonna head now? Yeah, so yeah, you as someone who's read the Pirates Code now know, especially with that Nat 20, if you sign under any captain to join their crew for this, there is a chance the captain can directly take the spear from you, and if you protest, you're in violation of the contract. Okay. Yeah. They have a house in the sort of central district of Tortage. So yeah, you just head back to Professor Plaster and Anna's place. No worries. Flower, fall. Tickets in hand. Separated.
Matthew, I want you to know that I was so disappointed that you missed your chance to say Doctor Who. You
Noted.
missed your chance.
Your disappointment is noted.
I'm so disappointed.
Flower and fall. As you wander the streets of Tortage, your tickets to get the group into Plundon in hand. Where would you like to go?
Okay. Would I know where anyone else went? I know they mentioned it.
Greylog said he was heading to the docks. Paul said he was just going to take a walk around and see what he could find. And Avaben said he was heading for the bar. And whenever they first left, Asari said they were heading to the east side of town.
Who would be the closest?
Avaben at the bar.
Okay, to the bar then.
All right. Avaben, you have bought several drinks for your Elvish and Orcish patrons. Knock off another silver piece. And the orc does reveal what he's drinking, or rather, whenever he places another order on your tab, the bartender kind of mumbles what he's getting. It reveals that the orc is drinking a alcohol known simply as orc sweat. And that explains the pungent odor, if nothing else.
Lovely.
The-
I was gonna have him like, as they like have drank a little bit more, he's gonna be like, "Are you sure there's nothing else you can say?" Referring to how they weren't really telling him too much earlier.
Yeah, the orc just kind of stares at you, and the elf takes a long swig of their elf wine, and like I said, we're gonna go talk to our captain in a little bit. He's just taking his son out to check out the town, see the sights. More than likely, he'll be paying a visit here. He'll be taking a visit here later, and I'll sort it out with him then. All right.
Very well.
Sorry.
Is there any-
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Abibin.
Well, have I at least done well enough to be graced with your name?
All right. You bought me drinks. I suppose it's the least I can do. This here's Chops, and they call me Stitches.
Well, most people call me Avaben, or just Iva for short.
You from Sherwood by any chance? That's Elvish, but not Dark Elf.
Yes, that is where I am from. Like I said, had some issues with my people some years back, so I've been living in Sherwood since then.
Well, I guess that explains why you got involved in all that nasty business down there.
It was a bit personal.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
You seem like you might be from there.
Oh yeah, I'd actually been paying a visit to my family whenever everything went down. Didn't stay in town as much as I'd like. Mostly just help the Spriggans cut down on the population of those rifle-wielding fucks.
Yeah, so we did our fair share of that as well. Me and my crew were ultimately able to figure out what they were up to and put a stop to it. In a way, we saved both the Dark Elves and Sherwood.
At this, you can see him and the orc actually kind of look at you and seem contemplative, and just, I think our captain might like you. And he takes another sip of his wine.
I do understand his apprehensiveness. He did say he has his son with him. It's understandable. Especially if he's human, from what I understand, they're real serious about those things.
They both kind of give low nods. Although you can hear in a language that you can't understand, the orc kind of mumbles something to the elf, who just kind of laughs and nods and repeats it back to him. Sorry, you sit with Captain Scarlet and just chat, be friendly, seeming like you're getting into her good graces.
Oh, I'm flirting like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah. And Flower and Fall, you enter the tavern.
Do I notice that Aviban is... Hello?
Hello?
Oh,
Hello?
sorry. I was just gonna ask if I had noticed that Aviban was maybe closing up on his
I wouldn't say he's closing up.
conversation.
Yeah, no. Avaben looks like he wants to stay and keep buying them drinks and see what he can weed out of them.
You know, get on
Okay.
their good side. You know, maybe try to.
I'll
act
stay
like
with Captain.
All right.
He wants
Flower.
them to make a good impression to their captain for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Flower and Fall, as you enter, you see pretty much the same patrons who had been mentioned already milling about. The only major difference is that you notice a Vaben sitting with an elf and an orc at the bar alongside a bunch of dwarves, and a Sari sitting with a curvy woman in a performer's getup, engaged in deep conversation.
Oh no, that Vaven's gonna be idly chatting as well.
Mhm.
Again, he's trying to be friendly with them.
Seems like everyone's a little busy right now. Hmm. Well then. I guess Well, this is a hard decision, actually. Who do I interrupt? Well, on the sliding scale, they know of Avon slightly more, so they're gonna interrupt him.
All right. Avaben, as you're making this friendly, occasionally probing chatter with your two compatriots, Flower and Fall approach you. You can see Stitches kind of glances at them, his eyes slightly bloodshot from the drinking.
Avaben will say, "Oh, these are two, or one, it's complicated, of the crew I was talking about. Like I said, we're all been looking around. We really are interested in trying to win that prize."
Stitches kind of glances to you as you talk and kind of considers for a moment before looking to Flower and Fall, looking over them for a moment before smiling and leaning forward and extending a finger. Howdy there. Name's Stitches.
Hello. We'll shake his finger.
Big, quiet, and stupid. Here's Chops.
Hello to you too.
So, what brings you to this dive? You here to give us the sales pitch too?
Well, I was actually coming to check up on my friends. Do they sell anything not alcoholic here?
Oh yeah. What do you want? Sugar water?
Sure.
Give us 2 very tiny shot glasses of sugar water here, bub. And the bartender grabs some little thimbles and just fills them with sugar water and delicately puts them on the table. And Stitches scooches over to less to have you sit traditionally, more just to give you a spot at the bar without their spilled beer all over it.
They will sit down.
Yeah,
sip on their sugar water.
They were just telling me how they're gonna talk with their captain and see if he can't help us get into the competition.
Yeah, we'll do our best at least. But
all I can ask is an attempt.
You guys have bought us drinks, and you seem like a fun, interesting bunch. Well, I'm surprised something as tiny as you wants to fight in a tournament like that. Don't get me wrong, I know from experience big things can come in small little packages, but...
Don't worry, I'm gonna show off my guns. I'll flex a little.
This actually does get the elf to grin, and you can see even the orc actually, finally, for the first time since Avaven engaged with them, break out into a grin. Anything from you, Flower and Fall, or are you just going to join Avaben in his conversation with these two?
They'll just join in. Didn't want to interrupt the deep conversation that Asari's having over there.
Okay.
I think he means a flirting.
Yeah.
Alright, once I'm done flirting, I guess I'll go over to did I see Flower and Fall coming through?
Yes.
I'll tell her where I'm staying tonight and give her a gold for a few more.
Which she takes happily and kind of walks it along her fingers and winks at you.
I do the whole finger guns thing.
All right. Sorry, you wish to approach the bar as well?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, Avaben, Flower and Fall, as Flower and Fall, you settle in with your drinks. You hear a heavy set of footsteps and see Asari approaching. And
Maybe just go. Just get out.
yeah, Avaben, you kind of glance and you see Stitches immediately, his eyes kind of go into a squint and he looks a little off-put. And Chops isn't even being subtle. Chops is immediately reaching for one of his meaty-looking
Hey.
blades.
Raven did say he was he had associates, right?
No, yeah, he did.
Don't mind them.
I'll go over to Avaven.
But it was just like, don't mind her. She's just one of my associates, like I said.
Sorry.
Kind of give them the side eye and give a nod.
I assure you, she probably doesn't have any ill intention. If she does, I'll knock some sense into her myself.
She kind of raises one of her eyebrows. I don't, sir.
Yeah, sorry, just a bit of a instinctual thing. Don't like being crowded in like this.
Everybody's gonna be like, well, give them some. I'm gonna look to the two. Like, give them some space, guys. Don't make them feel cornered.
There's not exactly a whole lot of space in this place available.
She's got a point there. What do you want?
Probably to say something to me, I'd assume, or Flower and Fall.
Well, I saw Flower and Fall come in here, and you looked busy. So, do we have a set way in? I may have a way.
I was having some conversations with my new friends here about that. I won't bore you with all the details. I'm sure we'll be able to discuss it later.
I'll look to the twins. Do you have any luck?
Sure. I'll continue sipping. But maybe we shouldn't talk about it here.
Informative.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about it later.
That's fair. Maybe we should take it back to HQ and leave these. And she kind of looks to them. Fine, gentlemen, to their drinking.
Probably. I think it would be for the best. I think we've come to an understanding. Though I'll give them one more drink on my way out, just for show how friendly I'm being. And I'll look to the barkeep to order one more set of drinks.
All right, that'll be another 4
I'm
copper.
gonna talk to the barkeep and tell him that anything Miss Curvy wants is on me, and just let her have anything she wants.
Miss
All right.
Kirby.
How many coppers?
4.
And I'll tell him I'll pay him when I come to fix them.
Yeah, you'll be opening up a tab. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Avaben, you pay for one final round of drinks for Stitches and Chops. Sorry, you open up a tab to pay for all of Captain Scarlet's drinks for the night. The pair of you just fucking bribing your way through the entire Brethren of the Coast. And Flower and Fall, do you pick up and leave with them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Raven's going to say, I say we go look for the others, and then we'll go discuss this in the docks.
I think it's better that we maybe discuss it back at Professor's. It's at least quiet there.
Back at where?
The Professor's?
I guess we can meet there.
That's what I meant when I said HQ. Do you not know that it means headquarters?
I know it means headquarters, but that can mean a lot of
I
things.
was just checking, you never know.
We never discussed exactly what that means for our context.
But if you ever get lost, you know.
So I guess just to go find the others so we can discuss what we've learned. And then I'll be returning to the tavern.
As of that.
And then have they walked out of the tavern at this point?
Yeah, I'll say by this point, yeah, you're throwing open the doors and heading out. And Avaven, you notice Stitches and Chops watching you the whole time.
As they exit, Avaven's going to say, because their captain might be one way to get us in, but he's very cautious. So it said he was going to be looking into some, so I would rather not return to the door. So I will be staying in the tavern instead.
Captain Scarlet likes me, and she said that she would look at the rest of you. So at least I have a way in. You know, she's very interesting. I like her. But I will also be sleeping at the tavern.
Very well.
All right.
Oh, yes. Lots of
Flower,
sleeping.
Flower and Fall, anything from you?
I guess they'll talk about their adventures with Dolly, but won't
Alright.
mention
Aw.
quite yet that they have bought anything because they're not at HQ.
All right. Yeah, so as you guys are swapping information, Flower and Fall just offhandedly interjects that they did some shopping at Dolly's wagon, but it doesn't say what they bought.
Nice. You need to go outside? Yeah?
It is raining like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming to our area as well. All right. Greylog. Have you decided on what you're willing to exchange with this mysterious oyster captain?
You said he had a bad eye, right?
Yeah, he has an eye patch.
I could take care of that eye for you if you would like to be able to see through it again.
And how exactly do you intend to do that?
Oh dear.
I'm a spellcaster. I could just restore your eye.
Make a persuasion check.
I feel like you have disadvantage to coming out of the blue like that.
Oh no, because he did say offer me something valuable to justify me letting you onto Plumden,
Oh,
since
that's
this is
what
an
he said.
open bribe.
Okay.
You said persuasion?
Yeah.
$21.
Okay. He kind of stares at you and contemplates, leaving you in silence as other than the various shouts and mutters of the various pirates, before eventually he gives a click of his tongue, and some nearby pirates start dragging cargo crates over to him, and a smaller crate is pushed under you, and the pirates kind of force you to sit down onto it, and he sits down on another, and there's a larger one in between you acting as a table, and he leans forward and slowly takes the eye patch off. And as it falls down onto the table, you can see beneath the Ushanka is another similar beady eye, but where human skin would be like burned or scratched, the pearl that seems to act as his head is cracked, as if he had been shot in that area. You can see what appears to be a bit of metal lodged into where the eye would be, surrounded by the cracks of the pearl, which ruin its otherwise pristine finish. And the pirate leans forward and glares at you and... Understand. I own a good chunk of the docks at this exact moment. You explode my head. You plant anything that's not supposed to be there. You even so much as sneeze on my coat. My men are gonna fill you with so many holes, your guts will be leaking lead. You understand me?
Yeah, I understand you quite well.
Does he have a magic spell for something like this?
He apparently does, since he's making this offer.
Well,
All right, mage, work your magic.
Mage.
it should do what I'm wanting, because it.
He's the
I
mage.
I want to cast Lesser Restoration because it can cure a condition, and technically he is blinded.
But I believe you need greater restoration to restore a missing body part.
Well, it's not missing; it's right there. It's just standing.
Wow.
Oh no, I'm thinking of regenerate. So you would need the regenerate spell to do this.
Oh.
Basically,
He really
Lesser
needs to know his spells before he makes these offers.
Yeah, basically the logic was
since it's
because it can end the blinded condition, that it could, in theory, fix it. But this isn't like basically this isn't him.
Yeah,
being
I guess that's not too unreasonable, but like again, like it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Not a good impression. But he will cast a spell regardless because he thinks it's going to work.
Okay. You cast Lesser Restoration. The magic flows through him, and nothing happens. He kind of gives a and ties the eye patch back around his head. Thought as much. If it were that easy, I would have just bought a healer and been done with it.
I guess I don't have the spell I need yet.
There's always next century.
Maybe.
Will that be all then?
I guess so. Are they still restraining him, or is he allowed to get up?
No, they didn't restrain you. They just forced you into the chair, but they're not going to stop you from getting up. And as you do so, he gives you a tip of his Ushanka and stands up himself. And goodbye, Greylog.
Did I get his name?
You did not.
Well, and he will say goodbye as well and head back up the dock.
Okay. Greylog, Paul, you run into each other while ascending the staircase. Paul leaving behind a goblin ship in a screaming argument. Greylog leaving behind a pirate captain who watches you suspiciously. And as the two of you meet at the bottom of the staircase and start ascending, you can tell just looking at each other that there wasn't a lot of progress. And as the two of you make it to the archway that leads into the rest of Tortage and walk through into the town square where the Hangman's Noose overlooks the town, you can see Asari, Avaben, and Flower and Fall across the square from you, heading towards the professor's house.
Maybe they've had better luck. They're a very interesting bunch.
Asari, as you, Flowerfall, and Avaben arrive at the professor's home, you knock on the door, but as you give your... you hear the clanking footfalls of Paul, and with Greylog in tow, as the two of them rejoin you just outside the house. And Anna quickly throws the door open, and... faster than I thought. Well, come in. And as she waves all of you in, she kind of nervously looks around to make sure that nobody is following you or being suspicious before shutting the door, sealing all of you within the professor's laboratory. Once you're all back in the lab, Anna immediately starts pacing around. Plaster, with several books next to him, is reading, but does look up and close the book and put it aside to listen to what's being said. All right, you guys didn't leave in a group, but came back as one, so I guess let's take this one person at a time. And does anyone essentially start speaking or raise their hands first?
Then we'll go first.
All right, she points to you, Avaben. Yeah, Avaben, what'd you find at the bar?
Well, I became acquainted with a pair of pirates from one of the crews, seemingly a crew with some influence, because they seemed pretty confident that they could get us in if their captain liked us. They went by the names Chops and Stitches.
All right. Certainly sound like aliases, but that's good. Being in with an influential pirate captain will definitely be something we need, whether he gets us in or not. Having some pirates on our good side is for our own safety, if nothing else, at this point.
Well, say it's not guaranteed. They said they would talk to their captain. And their captain may want to look into things first, which is why I will be staying at the tavern instead of near the door.
Understood. What were you going to say, Paul? Tried to join one of the crews yourself, I take it? The Pirate's Code.
Well, they said that their captain has actually no interest in the competition. I made it clear that we were looking to go on as one of the mercenaries they've been hiring, not as one of their crew.
All right. Well, that's progress. Anyone else have anything?
Well, I also had a lead at the tavern. I didn't get very far. With the I forget what the halfling's name is. My brain's just fried. But
Fabian,
he.
remember his name?
What was his name?
Normally I'd call for a history roll, but I'll be nice this time and say that their name was Mark Mouse.
The name is Mark Mouse.
Yes, Mr. Mouse. He did say hello to you, Avaben. I forgot to say that a little bit earlier, but he did want me to say hello for him to you.
Here, I'll go give him a greeting as well.
He did give me a lead, and then I had another lead at the tavern. He was saying that Don of the Mafia would probably let us, give us a good word, I guess, if I brought him a specific type of beer. It's got like a face on it. It's a dwarven thing. Real bubbly. But I wasn't really feeling that lead. And then, so I went to the tavern and I met with a pirate. Her name was Captain.
Her. So that's a lead you could actually feel, huh?
He just kind of like gives a sly smile. We talked for a long while and she agreed to let me join her, but she said that she would like to look at the others. But I will also stay at the tavern with her.
Honestly, that was my backup plan.
Yeah, she's actually really good. So, I mean,
Not her specifically, but that approach was my backup plan if the drinks weren't enough.
Anna kind of rolls her eyes, but smirks a little bit, and...
Hey, they're pirates. Spend months at sea. It can't be that hard to convince them.
It can't be that
Not exactly
hard.
a winning argument that they have low standards.
That's why I said it was the backup plan.
No, this is just simply for my enjoyment.
All right. Greylog, you have any luck?
I did meet this one pirate captain. Very interesting character. But I couldn't offer him what he wanted, and it fell through.
It's a shame. Well, at least you tried.
Well, I was gonna cure his sight, but I don't have the magic for that.
So are you going to do that?
I thought I had the correct spell. Apparently I did not.
It's alright. At least you tried. Better that you just couldn't give him what he wanted and he turned you away than for him to, I don't know, string you up as an example to others.
Yeah.
She's got a point.
Flower and Fall, I don't suppose you had any better luck?
I bought, these from Dolly.
And you all watch as Flower and Fall produces 5 tickets to plunder.
Hey. Yeah, I'm still going to the tavern.
It would probably
I was
still be
gonna-
beneficial to maybe get in the good graces of this captain.
I was gonna ask if, these were real. Dolly can sometimes give us something that doesn't work.
You didn't check before buying them?
I don't know what they look like.
All right, yeah, come here. I'll check.
How much did you spend on this?
A lot of money.
How much is a lot of money, dear?
Well, it was my money. Don't worry about it.
Well, I am going to worry about it.
Anna takes one of the tickets and, kind of breaking out one of those small little like jeweler's eyepieces, starts scanning the ticket carefully. I will say all of you now get a better look at the tickets. The tickets themselves are these very like ancient and weathered looking, like yellowed with time in the sun. Not even parchment. They're like almost like this papyrus texture. This kind of greenish yellow color. But as Anna looks over them, she looks over them for several minutes before. Well, I don't know if I'd stake my life on it, but it certainly looks authentic. They've been doing this competition for 600 years now, so the tickets are certainly aged. It's possible to fake this kind of aging, but it certainly seems like the real deal, certainly old enough. It's either real or a very convincing fake.
Cool. So either way, probably work.
Well, wow. Congratulations.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Very well done, Flower and Fall.
Well,
We gotta weigh in.
it sounds like you guys got some stuff to keep you busy for the next couple days. London's not expected to arrive for another couple days, so take your time to rest and gather supplies. If you plan to compete, if you plan to compete as fighters, yes, I know. If you plan to compete as fighters, you're gonna need to be in top form. Make sure you have everything you need, because bear in mind, Plundon's always on the move. So once you're on board, you're gonna have to come back by the good graces of the pirates.
Where did Avaven get the pistol?
I believe, yeah, you had already asked her for it, and she returned it to you.
Okay. Can you add that? Because I don't know how to add that.
Oh, sure, I got you. But yeah, she looks over all of you, and well, again, congratulations. You all be careful. If you're gonna be staying at the tavern, just watch your pockets and stay out of trouble.
If these get us in, I'll make sure to tell Dolly thank you from us.
Yeah, I will. I guess just send me a message if the pirates start to hang you.
Sure. I'll ask them if they can send a message.
Sure thing. She does seem really nervous, but at the same time, you do see a slight air of confidence, as if your optimism is rubbing off on her a bit. And she gives a wide smile and, all right, I think we got this.
Yeah, don't worry so much. We have backup plans and backup plans. We're stacked with them.
Yeah, stacked with them. We're gonna be all right. The professor and I will be careful not to visit or talk about the door. Avaben will follow up on that lead you mentioned and report back to you as soon as we can.
So
The rest of you...
way, do you know of any pirates who... Have you heard of any pirates who have a kid that they have with them? That's the only detail I got about the captain that I'm supposed to talk to.
Referring to the Brethren of the Coast specifically, because I'm an archaeologist. I don't know every pirate that sails.
Yeah, I guess just of any of them that you know.
She thinks for a moment and kind of flicking over some of her notes. Not that I can find, but it's not uncommon for pirate captains, brethren or not, to take on cabin boys and powder monkeys as their children. But like I told you guys, most of the Brethren pass on their title through just killing the last guy. Pirates don't exactly get the chance to retire that often. As far as I know, none of the current Brethren have children, and don't plan to have any either.
Interesting.
What was that, sorry?
Oh, I was just saying, it's interesting that you say that not many pirates retire. Is that the captain was speaking about retiring himself?
You're gonna have to get close to the mic. I can't understand you very well.
It's okay, never mind.
Sorry.
Pretty much, she was saying that Captain Scarlet mentioned that she was planning to retire. And that quite a few would probably as well.
Yeah, at this, Anna actually kind of furrows her brow and tilts her head, and now that is news to me. Can't imagine. Did any of your leads happen to mention what's got them on the run like this?
He wouldn't. Stitches didn't say specifically, but he said they were being hunted. And from the sounds of it, it's one man doing it. He specifically said he wouldn't be shocked if he... That's why they were so concerned about people in London. So they wouldn't be shocked if he tried to get himself on board.
They did mention...
And he's going to quote verbatim basically what he said, how this guy's one-man crew spade.
Yeah,
Right.
and then Asari, tell him that Asari is going to bring up that
And
Captain
Asari's going to bring up what Scarlet said about the pirate hunters.
All right. So yeah, so Avaben, as you tell the tale that Stitches told you, Asari corroborates it with what she got from Scarlet, and Anna gives a low nod, and wow, we'll look into it just in case, but I mean, if it's pirate hunters, we're not pirates, so this doesn't sound like our problem. Honestly, probably be better for this town if this guy managed to, frankly, take them all out.
He did mention how the way he spoke made it seem like he's already killed innocent to get to them. He may rather destroy this entire city in the process of killing them.
She kind of furrows her brow and... Well, in that case, watch your backs out there. I mean, you have a whole fleet protecting you, so it's not like he'll take you by surprise. Just, yeah. Watch your backs, and with any luck, either they're getting scared over nothing, or it won't be our problem. Either way, I don't suggest involving yourself in pirate affairs. Just let them deal with this on their own, and whatever happens, happens. If they do end up retiring to avoid this guy, and he runs out of pirates to kill, then more's the better for us.
Hopefully he doesn't expand his definition of pirate.
As someone who's lived in this town as long as I have, frankly, anyone who's killing pirates, I'm going to consider a friend. Or, at the very least, someone I'd share a drink with. And she takes a swig from her thermos.
Someone certainly capable of great danger, from what I understand. If he's able to put this much fear into all pirates like this.
From what it sounded like is that... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Vaben, go ahead.
And from what I know of humans, if you give them danger and power, they will inevitably abuse it.
Anna kind of gives a smirk and a nod, and sorry?
She was going to bring up the fact, it did sound like they were planning something. I'm not exactly sure what, by now. But the pirates that's why, like, they're all here, is that they're trying to come up with some kind of plan to do something about this guy.
Huh, well, that's dandy then. Vaben, if you're as worried about this as you seem, then the pirates will probably just come up with a plan and kill him and then go right on killing and harassing the rest of us. And
The
if
problem
not,
is, hopefully their response is not also as unnecessary as his response to them, which it's highly likely it will be.
this is why I don't get involved in politics. I don't know what to tell you. Just try not to get killed by the pirates or the guy killing the pirates. How's that?
You are best.
Sounds like good advice.
Basically, don't get killed is always the best advice in any situation.
I'll keep that in mind. Good job getting these, Flower and Fall. And she hands the ticket back to you. I suggest you guys keep these safe.
Yes, it
Maybe
would-
we should stay here to keep them safe.
Feel free. I can clear out one of my bunks.
She's an excellent roommate.
Well, if that settles everything, I will, as I said, probably go give, what was the... Avaven knows, but I keep forgetting.
Well, referring...
Mark the mouse.
Oh, yeah, yes,
Yeah.
Mark Mouse.
I remembered Mouse.
I wrote it down this time.
Mark Mouse. I'll give Mark a visit. I've been meaning to do so. He is interesting conversation.
Not bad. And she kind of winks at you. And just make sure that everything we talked about stays in here.
Of course. Only,
I go
we
get
only
some
need to
drink.
say what's necessary.
I'm gonna head back to the tavern.
All right.
And Greylock will go with her.
Good you.
Oh, great.
Paul, you and the twins watch as Greylog and Asari leave, kind of arguing amongst themselves. Avaben slinks out to head to the magic item shop. And Anna...
Oh, they're bickering like an old married couple. It's
Oh, yeah.
hilarious.
And Anna turns to you, Flower and Fall. And, what about you? I know you plan to stay here, but, Paul, you got any plans?
Well, not particularly. I guess I could just simply stay here and make sure no one gets a hold of those tickets. Prefer not to have to go with the contracts of pirates.
Yeah, good call. And she looks to the twins with a wide smile, and yeah, that's why I figured I'd check. I don't typically see you two too far apart from each other. Don't worry, the professor and I are great roommates. We don't snore much. Well, I just don't sleep, so...
How come?
Go stay up, do research. And she takes another swig from her thermos.
No, sleep. Come here. Let's go to bed.
You're not my mother.
Then she'll narrow her eyes and just like, well, would your mother like you to stay up then?
Don't bring my mother into this. That's not fair.
Well, it would be fair if, like, you wouldn't be so upset if your mom would be okay with it.
My mother doesn't approve of a lot of my life choices.
Well, sleep is a good one to be worried about.
Fine. Professor, can you leave a bookmark on Brethren of the Coast, Pirates with Children, Brethren of the Coast, Pirates with Children, Nardasima, the Second Age, the Kingdom of Sylvestria, and she just keeps rattling off more and more things for the professor to bookmark, who, to his credit, just calmly and quietly fills in everyone. And Anna this whole time is just capping her thermos and taking off her jacket and like laying down on what appears to be a slightly messy set of bunk beds. Paul, as you watch Flower and Fall basically bully your tracker into getting some actual sleep. You ready your blade and prepare to keep a long watch as pirates survey the city. And
That is
unnoticed by all of you, as Avaben exits out to climb onto the higher levels of the city, Asari and Greylog head off to the tavern, and Flower, Fall, and Paul prepare to spend a few nights with the archaeologists. Under a hooded cloak, a heavily stitched elven figure hides in the dark alley not too far from the door to Anna's house. And as soon as Avaben and Asari and Greylog's step out, slips deeper into the alley and starts winding their way around. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Even with my passive perception, he still wasn't seen.
Yep.
That guy's good. Well, my passive perception is a 21.
Yeah.
So he's pretty good.
Yeah. No, I had everyone's passive pulled up. He passed.
Wow.
That's not saying much for sorry.
Yeah, I'm good.
Why do I get a bad feeling about this?
If you want to see more of my DMing, check out twitch.tv/GrahamCrackers, GrameCrackerz, for my Friday campaign, The Goldshine Investigations, at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time, featuring a party of investigators trying to unravel the cultish conspiracy that threatens to plunge their home into war. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer putting the moves on a hot pirate lady.
Yeah.
Whose boyfriend's going to turn into the hot pirate lady too.
Party now.
Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly and support our episodes posted on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get them from. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Mondays at 9:30 Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions or the Odd Tornado Productions YouTube channel to catch up on what you missed. Check out Odd Tornado Productions Official on Tumblr to find links to our other works, including our Paladins Twitch channel at twitch.tv/AustinFreak123. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. That link's about to be posted in chat. Or on Ko-fi at kofi.com/oddtornadoproductions. And follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/tornadoodd. The TNO are capitalized. And if you like this party and want to see more of them, tune in tomorrow, Tuesdays at 9:30 Central Daylight Time on the same channels, Twitch and YouTube, for our Tuesday game of Black Ink and Blue Blood, featuring a party of politicians and nobles trying to unravel a political conspiracy if they can just stop stabbing each other in the back long enough to do that.
Hey, we haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, we've gotten better.
Yeah, you have. That's true.
We agreed on a plan for once.
That is true.
And then, Zephyr's gonna go steal from Sundrag.
I mean, to be fair,
Excuse
the
me,
plan.
that's my girlfriend.
Nothing in the plan said Zephyr can't rob the bank.
True.
If it did, then Zephyr still would have done it.
Well, Zephyr just wouldn't have agreed to the plan, I think. Thanks,
Zephyr would have been vague about the plan.
Thanks, everyone at the table, so much for playing. Thanks, everyone at home, so much for watching. And we'll see you all next week.
Alright, see ya, everybody. I gotta head off. I gotta get up early tomorrow.
Yeah, I do what you got.